In a world obsessed with rankings, two men dare to chisel greatness out of metaphorical granite, one wildly subjective opinion at a time. This show, every episode, we select four icons from a single topic and immortalize them in our own personal halls of fame. Subjective? Absolutely. Debatable? Always. Set in stone? Until next week. Welcome to the Mount Rushmore show, where your top four says everything about you. I'm Mike Mintz. He's Joe Mintz. We got special guest. We'll let Joe set that up. But Joe, we're going to be unwrapping something special today.
What a great pun. Perfect timing, Mike.
Nice.
And ladies and gentlemen, the day has finally arrived. The rumor you've heard, the whispers in the dark corners, the legend who has been booked more times than he's actually appeared on the podcast. A long-awaited guest, a man of myth, the third Mintz. Mike, your brother, in fact, or
Biological.
my cousin, and that is Jim Mintz. Jim, welcome.
Feel like it just entered the ring, you know.
You should feel that way.
Michael
It's a good
Buffer
intro.
just
And
announced
this
it.
is this is a double guest feature. We also got Jim. I'll let you introduce this one.
Right. So Gabriel is my
Hello.
grandson,
Hi there.
and there you go, got that in. He was on his way over to shovel my sidewalk for cash, and I thought he might as well just jump in here. He's wanted to be on here way more than I've ever wanted to be on here, you know. So that's how we got here. So boys,
And
tell
Gabe, we are excited to have you too, especially coming off of last week's topic, which Gabe is probably more in your wheelhouse than Mike and I's.
Yeah.
Honestly, we probably in hindsight should have had you on for that episode. And Mike, if you're watching on video, is representing today. Mike, why don't you introduce what you're wearing?
All right, so this is my ugly Christmas sweater, and it is Contra. I'm going to kind of try to stand up here. It's even got the Contra code, if you can see that at the bottom, up, up, down, down, left, right. Contra was one of my choices for picks Nintendo Hard. It's pretty much impossible to beat, but some of us are good enough gamers to make it happen. Joe, but you were telling me before we got started that you've been kind of scratching that itch a little bit to get back into video games.
I have. I did browse, but I did not check out on a PlayStation 2 and games. But I found a local watering hole that has TVs everywhere and some couches, and they said I can donate a PlayStation 2 or Xbox to their facility for me to play at my leisure or anyone else's. Because my fear is if it's in my house, it's going to be overconsumed. I just don't want to be the guy coming home playing 3 hours of video games in his 30s because I could easily be that guy. So
Joe, are we 12? Self-control, man. It's what you're the bedrock of who you are, self-control.
well, I don't know if I have as much willpower as you think, but I do set up systems to make willpower much easier. And
You
keeping sugary snacks and video games out of the house are the two rules.
you haven't had dairy in 12 years.
You
I
know
don't
why? Because I
understand how
don't leave
you
it in the
can't.
house, Jim. If I stared at it in the fridge every day, guess what? This guy's consuming dairy.
Doubt it. Okay,
But
got it.
Gabe, do you know what Contra is?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a game on the Super Nintendo, I think, right?
There
Yes,
is a
that's a
version
correct
on the Super
answer
Nintendo,
for
yeah.
someone your age. I think Nintendo. That's about as much as we expected to hear there.
That's what I
Gabe,
played on.
what are we missing as far as video game culture today? What are the hit games of kids your age?
For me, these ages, kids usually play a lot of first-person shooters a lot, or third-person shooters.
List
Give
off.
me some hits. What are we
So
playing?
we got a little bit of Fortnite in there, maybe some like Fortnite.
Got that
Then,
one. You can't do it twice.
oh, did I say that twice?
Yep. Come on.
Say it three
Okay.
times.
Then I got Minecraft in there.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So we got a couple there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Minecraft being one of the classics that we grew up on too.
Yeah.
Now, what about some of the ones Mike and I share, like Madden, Tony Hawk, Grand Theft Auto? Are those still in the mix, the newer versions? Probably not Grand Theft Auto,
Grand Theft
for your
Auto
age,
5 is
but
still being played by kids my age still.
What about
is
Madden?
sports games still a big thing, or is it mostly just the shooter games now?
NBA 26
Okay.
and Madden 26 is still in there.
Are we playing instruments? Is it guitar, rock band, stuff like that going down?
For me, I do, but I don't think a lot of kids my age do.
Okay.
I want to
So
take. bit of a
Your
comfort
taste isn't like
perspective.
everybody's. What you're saying. You have quite the unique blend.
Yeah.
You know how you play first person shooter games? Well,
Mhm.
Contra, you just ran to the right the
Yeah,
entire time.
you
For
do.
for 2.5 hours, you ran to the right.
That's true.
You couldn't go left. You could jump. Well, actually, maybe you could go left,
You
but you
could
couldn't
go
go
left, but
back
you
too
couldn't.
far screen, right,
It's like
Mike?
Mario, kind of.
Yeah, look, it's a simple game. There's two buttons and a direction pad. There was one level you do jump up that you play, but
But you
yeah,
ran to the right.
yeah, you run to the right.
You
Yeah,
kind of like Zoolander, no lefties. You know what I
yeah,
mean? No
and
lefties.
just hold down the fire button for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Okay.
some games don't age well. Every 10 years, it's a whole different user interface. If we had our fathers on, I'm sure they would talk about Tetris and we'd roll our eyes. But that's
Pong,
that's what,
yeah.
yeah,
Holding
Pong,
your knees.
whatever.
I spent a lot of time in school playing that game. It was the only thing that would fit on a floppy disk for memory.
Interesting. I had calculator, TI-84 Snake video
Texas
games.
Instruments? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That was your class when you didn't want to get caught. You wouldn't look like you were doing a math equation in science class.
I just preferred to listen to school versus playing on that thing, to be honest with you.
You were a good student.
I wouldn't say that, but okay. So I listened to your show this morning from last week to prepare myself. And I don't know if it's in me to do your rants that you guys do, your Pat McAfee, WWE slash college game day rants on every topic. So
We are
you'll have,
following the Pat McAfee algorithm. We've
yeah,
studied that.
I hear it from you guys. And so that's gonna be missing when I deliver my top four. So I just want you to be prepared that I'm not gonna bring it. I can't bring it. I don't have that in me. So
Jim, you are great at the undersell,
I-
overdeliver. You can say whatever you want, Jim. You could mute yourself out. The fact that you are on here is a
how do I
blessing.
do
It's
that?
step one. I have a feeling you're going to get hooked after this, and we may make this the third Mintz Rushmore show.
This might be my Xbox in the basement.
This could be.
Exactly.
We'll see. But no pressure, Jim. Whatever you want to say or talk about, the floor is yours.
If I do another, you have to agree to get Madden and a PlayStation.
Let's not go
You see
crazy.
that deep breath you took?
But for today's episode, it's perfect timing because today we're talking about everyone's favorite time of year, the holidays, the lights, the music, the chaos, the calories, the dairy, but most importantly, holiday movies. Because nothing gets you in the spirit like watching a family nearly kill each other over a tree, a green fuzzy creature terrorize the innocent townsfolk, the claymation reindeer with questionable labor practices. But before we dive in, let's address the menorah in the room. We are
Mm.
calling this episode holiday movies, not Christmas movies. Because let's be honest, three Jewish guys ranking Christian holiday cinema feels a little off brand, but our people gave the world monotheism, bagels, neurosis, but not Tim Allen movies. So today, all holidays are on the table: Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, New Year's, even Thanksgiving if you've got one.
Nakatomi Christmas parties, are those also possible? We'll
I'm
see.
not sure what that is.
So
Well,
you're
we'll
saying
we'll see.
so you're saying an Adam Sandler movie can slide in there?
If it's holidays, yes. I'm not saying
Okay.
throw in Happy Gilmore, but um, we can get into what defines a holiday movie later.
Okay.
I would like to talk about the evolution of holiday movies. They have changed wildly over time. We started with the pure heart melters, like It's a Wonderful Life, where we learned that every life matters and ringing bells kills angels or something like that. I honestly
Mm.
haven't seen it.
That's not the way it goes.
Yeah. Then
Close,
came the
though.
sweet childhood classics like Rudolph, Frosty, Charlie Brown, gentle, cozy, very safe. The cinematic equivalent of hot cocoa and footy PJs.
Mm.
And then you had the comedies like A Christmas Story, The National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where the plot is mostly family exists and chaos follows. Then Hollywood said, "Hey, what if Christmas was mean?" Enter the Grinch and Scrooged. Then we got the rom-com era, The Holiday, Love Actually, movies built entirely around British people crying in sweaters. And then the naughty era, Bad Santa, Office Christmas Party, The Night Before, where you kind of had the Christmas spirit mixed with weed, whiskey, and some HR sort of violations. And then you got Hallmark that said, hold the peppermint latte, and they dropped 4,000 movies that somehow all star the same actress falling in love with a baker, a widowed carpenter, or a prince of a fictional European country called Snowlandia. Then came the dark side, a violent night where Santa's killing terrorists essentially, Krampus, Christmas, but make it emotionally scarring. And of course, the eternal question is Die Hard a Christmas movie? My stance, just because Christmas music is playing while someone falls off Nakatomi Plaza doesn't mean it counts.
Wait a minute. Jewish movies are allowed in, but Die Hard's not?
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying for me it's not.
Okay. I feel
And
like
now
we
we live in this Netflix era. Algorithm approved holiday films pumped out annually like assembly line sugar cookies. But hey, Godspeed to Lindsay Lohan. We all got to make a living. But Mike, Jim, the question is, why do we love holiday movies? Why do we keep coming back to these films? To me, it's comfort food, warmth, tradition, nostalgia. We know every beat before it comes, and we love it every time. We debate when it's acceptable to start watching them before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. Do you put up the tree in November, or do you wait like a functioning adult, if you ask me? It feels like half the country gets activated like sleeper agents the second Mariah Carey comes out. And while new movies come out every year trying to earn their spot in the rotation, let's be real here. It's all about rewatchability, not quality. We watch them again and again because they take us back. They take us back to our parents' couch, to childhood, to the much simpler times filled with magic and sugar and no responsibilities. So before we get into the picks, Mike, Jim, outside of movies, give me an idea of what are the holiday traditions in the Montana Mintz household?
Oh man, well, we have our Christmas Eve tradition that has persisted probably since before I was born, where we do Chinese food on Christmas Eve. Part of the whole Poppy that owned the framing shop, and the idea that they worked all the way on to Christmas Eve, and the only place that was open was the Chinese restaurant. And so, yeah, even in Montana, and when we moved to Montana, we had to make it ourselves. So it's one of these great traditions that's kind of stuck around. We still do it every year.
I was going
Mine
to
is
add,
similar.
yeah, I was going to add the one tradition I remember and dread every year is hanging off of a ladder, hanging Christmas lights outside in the snow and ice. It wouldn't be Christmas without that.
So the Jews put up Christmas lights too.
Well, mom was Catholic, so
For context, listening, we all have that benefit of Jewish fathers and Christian mothers. So we kind of double dipped on the whole Hanukkah Christmas thing, I believe.
Right. Absolutely.
yeah, but Pops
So,
was scared to death of heights, so it was me and Jim that always had to hang up the Christmas lights. So
right.
on
And
the ladder.
I'd be remiss if I didn't, mention your entrance there, Joe, your monologue. That was masterful. And maybe that comes every week, but to just sit here and witness that was a pure joy, wasn't it, Gabriel?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Heck of a way
Well,
to start this
Jim,
show.
anything to add to my monologue? Anything you agree or disagree with?
There were several, but I wanted to let it go and move
Well,
on.
that's why we're here. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Podcast is meant to talk about the thing,
I'm
not think about the thing.
excited. I'm less excited to tell you my four and more excited to tear apart your four. And not just your
Ooh.
four, but everybody's four. Because this list that we are talking about, I have so many honorable mentions. There are more honorable mentions I have that didn't crack the top four than I feel confident with the four that are in there. And so I can't wait to hear some of yours. I feel like you've touched on some possibilities in there, and I'm just waiting. I can't wait to rip. So let's do this.
All
And
right.
Gabriel
So
has
I've
decided
established my
he's gonna,
criteria. It's about rewatchability over quality, right?
yeah,
Jim, is your theme more or less the same or different? Give me an idea of what's the theme here?
I'm proud of mine because I have two that come from the 80s and two that come from the late 2000s, and late being closer to where we are now than the early 2000s. So I feel like I've got a nice mix. Some are definitely going to be matches with you guys, but I feel like there might be one or two in there that shock you, and I'm waiting for the criticism to come. I'm excited for it. As far as are they Hallmark made movies? And that's another thing I want to talk about is Hallmark. They just made greeting cards for years. And then all of a sudden they made the same movie 400 times over and over. And
Every year.
yeah, their stock just went through the roof, right? For Christmas. Only Christmas time, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I don't know if they make Valentine's Day movies or not either, but they don't flood my Hulu stream like Hallmark does during Christmas.
You're right. And it's not for me. They're not going to be making my list, but that's the beautiful part of the show. It's your Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
So you can poke at mine, I can poke at yours. At the end of the
No,
day, we're setting these in stone, Jim.
let's do
So
that.
prepare
This is
yourself.
it.
Whatever
This
you
is it.
say is stuck.
So Gabriel has decided he's going to make his own four, and I think he should
I did.
because they're strange and they need to be on there for you
I
guys to
already did
see.
them.
Right. So let's start this. Who goes first?
Okay, well, Jim, you as the honorable guest, why don't
Oh,
we'll do a
crazy.
round robin style.
Okay.
So we can go you, then we can go Gabe, then Mike and me. And if we share some, we'll just kind of keep track.
Mike is the producer. If are you going to talk to the producer later and make this like a four split screen? Like, how are we going to visualize or see this later on
It'll be
YouTube?
three screens.
Yeah.
You going to split it into three constant, or are you going to flashing back and forth? How does your producer do that?
Well, I'll be honest with you guys, if you haven't
There's
caught on by now, there's no editing involved in the process of making this podcast. So after this is done, it is uploaded. There will not be any festive Christmas music to begin or end this podcast edited in. So whenever you talk, you and Gabe will be on there, and whenever you don't, it'll be Jim, Mike or I.
Let's just hope that everybody's too busy with Christmas to then to watch this, right?
This is what they tune in for. It's for these in between the picks.
Having Gabriel on here is going to double your views just because he's going to go to school and say, guys, check this out.
Absolutely. Share it. Spread the word. In
All
fact,
right.
Gabe, share the Thanksgiving episode because that's the one I want to get
Okay.
out. I need a cultural movement around Thanksgiving food, but I
Okay.
digress.
Okay.
Jim,
Start
kick
us
us
off.
off.
Okay. So Mount Rushmore starts, and I'm going to get it out there before you guys have a chance. Number one, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 1989. We had John Hughes write this movie. Fits perfectly. I feel like I couldn't pick somebody better to make my all-time favorite Christmas movie. John Hughes, I just want to take, if those that don't know, he's famous for movies like Home Alone, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and The Breakfast Club, and even Uncle Buck. And that probably doesn't hit most of people's top movies on John Hughes, but they are mine. So I felt like mentioning them. What I love about this one is it breaks the code on a lot of things that you guys talk about and people talk about, saying that sequels cannot be better than the originals, unless, of course, it is Terminator 2, right? This was actually the third installment in the National Lampoon's Vacation movies, and it's the one that everybody talks about to this day. So you've got everything. You've got the home setting, you've got the family, the extended family coming back. Everybody somehow lives under one roof. I don't know how these homes exist in John Hughes' world. Like, do they have 13 bedrooms? Seriously, when you start thinking about all the people that go under there, I always wonder how Hallmark does it too. Everybody stays under one roof. You've got the Christmas light show where you've got to beat out your neighbor. If you haven't lived through that, then you haven't owned your own home in a neighborhood yet with a cul-de-sac. And then on top of it, everything melts down. Absolutely everything melts down by the end of it. So it's the buildup, it delivers, and then you have it all crashing and being an utter disaster, which, like Mike said, you do enough of these reunions every year and traditions, you know exactly how Griswold Clark felt in that moment. And then Clark has also given us not just quotes that we live by, but also things like in my opinion, his jersey, his Blackhawk jersey, is probably one of the best Christmas sweaters of all time. You know, if you want to call jersey a Christmas sweater. So I think that's enough. I think I've done my best Pat McAfee.
Jim, great pick and fitting for your background. For those who can't see, move your head a little bit to the left, and you can see Cousin Eddie back there. And what did Cousin Eddie once say in the movie? What's his iconic line, Jim?
I don't know. See, the thing is, that movie was PG-13, and I think you were only allowed to say the word once, right, Mike?
It was the 80s. They had all sorts of rules. Yeah.
I mean, they
But
were showing topless women in PG movies back then.
Yeah.
I don't think there was as many rules.
right, Gabe can't say it because he's afraid his mom might hear this later. But the shitter is full. And I believe it was Clark the shitter's full, right?
Thank
Yeah.
you. We couldn't talk about that movie without that quote being said. Earmuffs if you have children listening, but
Right.
iconic, great line. And I'm going to share this pick with you, Jim. Mike, you as well, or just me?
No, I'll also share this pic. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a commemorative Wally Moose eggnog glass. I love Christmas Vacation. It's one of the all-time classics. 1989. Seen it a bunch. I love the idea of Clark, his full-blown old-fashioned family Christmas that just goes completely off the rails. Dried out turkeys, electrocuted cats, raging squirrels, and Clark getting a SWAT team called to his entire house. It's Cousin Eddie. I mean, come on, the guy. There's some iconic scenes, the sledding scene. There's just so much. It's one I watch every single year. Love it. It's on my list.
Yes, and it's my mom's arguably favorite movie, so I feel like I would have an issue if I didn't at least bring it up. But it's gonna make my list because it's almost a forced rewatch every year, but I enjoy it. The comedy was a little bit before my time, but I just enjoy the comfort of it. The trees, the lights, the squirrel. It's every moment of chaotic perfection, and it's just comfort blanket comedy for me. Pure holiday serotonin. Um, and I love that it's got my favorite actress, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, early
Mm.
on. People forget. Pre-Elaine, she was in that movie. Small role, but still memorable, if you ask me.
Right. It was Todd and is it Margot?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Just guessing. I feel like Todd and Margot.
And the best character was Cousin Eddie. I mean, I feel like every family holiday has a Cousin Eddie, maybe more than one. And if you don't think you do, you might be him.
Yeah.
Jim, are you the Cousin Eddie?
I don't think I deserve that.
I've not been there for the Chinese festival on Christmas Day that the Montana Mintzes have. Who was the Cousin Eddie at that dinner?
I
You,
might
well,
be. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say you have to come down or up one of these years, Joe, and find out, I guess. So you
Right.
could be the
Uh,
cousin Eddie. So
Maybe I'm the Cousin Eddie. I don't
you
know.
could be. You could be. So
Whoever clogs
Like
the
a,
toilet first.
yeah. I'm slightly too classy, I think, to be Cousin Eddie. I want to be more like Cousin Eddie, like take it down a notch or two,
Yeah.
rock
It's a
the.
it's a weird relationship with Cousin Eddie. You kind of admire him, his
Oh, for sure.
brashness, but also disgust at the same time.
Yeah,
He's a man we
absolutely.
hate but also want to be. It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, few can pull off that bomber hat while wearing the robe with no pants. So I'm
It's not I
inspired
think
to,
if you're willing to wear it, you've already done the mission of pulling it off because wearing
yeah.
it on its own, having that confidence is demonstrated by wearing it.
right. And I have a house where the mailbox is probably, I don't know, 20, 30, so many feet out there. So I've always wanted to walk out my house wearing Cousin Eddie's outfit to get the mail. I mean, I've always thought that would be classic. And then obviously time it when the neighbors are outside, just so they could witness it.
Well, if this doesn't inspire you doing it this year, you'll never do it, Jim.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Gabe, are you going to share this one with us or do you have a different pick?
Does it
Um,
make your top four?
I mean it did, but I just picked different ones.
Okay. Which one of the four do you want to talk about?
So I want to talk about one of my favorite movies. I rewatch it every Christmas. I like Red One, the Prime Video one.
I can see Joe does not know what you're
I
talking.
don't know what that is.
Mike,
Oh, Joe, you're
yeah,
missing out, man.
Okay.
You got to have kids, Joe. Red One is a recent one. Dwayne The
Oh,
Rock
Red
Johnson.
One. Red
Yeah,
with
yeah,
The Rock
Oh,
and Chris
yeah.
Evans.
The
The
Rock.
Rock.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
seen that. Yes, I have seen that movie.
what
We have done our own Rock Mount Rushmore, Gabe, but unfortunately, Red One did not make either of our lists, even though I have seen it.
thoughts on this movie, Mike?
Red One is fun. I mean, it's a fun Christmas movie. There's some really fun scenes. The interplay between Chris Evans and The Rock. I love the Krampus slop where they basically play a power slap with Krampus. I like the idea of a jacked Santa instead of the fat Santa. With J.K. Simmons,
Yeah.
Montana boy, by the way, from Missoula. So represent in a movie. So there's a lot of good things in that movie. I'm gonna say we haven't gotten to my criteria yet, Joe, but my criteria is if it hasn't been around for 20 years, it's probably not making my list because it's gotta take time to savor the flavor. But the red one's a great pick there, Gabe.
I'm thinking it reminds me of a Die Hard being remade into a PG movie. I
I
think
buy it.
I think Richard Donner would
I think
be
Red One's a little bit more on brand for Christmas than Die Hard. The whole theme of the movie is Christmas. Whereas, let's be honest, Die Hard has no Christmas themes, just a little bit of Christmas music being played.
Can you tell what Joe's going to get hung up with this year
On what?
on what themes Christmas movies and what
Uh,
isn't?
he's got his
Well,
criteria.
this is a holiday movie
There we go.
podcast. Let's not forget. Let's not get it twisted. I'm just saying the theme of the movie has to be about the holiday to
Right.
me. But end of the day, folks, I'm not grabbing a chisel out of your hand and making your Rushmore. This is all you.
All right,
All
Joe.
right.
Well, we share, Jim, Mike, and I all share Christmas Vacation, and Gabe has his Red One. So, Jim, why don't you kick off number two?
Number two for me, this one's going to throw you guys. I'm going to go with Daddy's Home 2.
I like that pick.
Again, it's a sequel. It's not supposed to be better than the original, but it is 10 times better than the original, and it's themed around Christmas this time around. This movie came out in 2017, and it stars Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, but they've decided to step up the notch this year and add John Lithgow being the parent of Will Ferrell and adding Mel Gibson as the father of Mark Wahlberg. And the fact that they added these two characters and created a dynamic where now they have their kids, but they have their parents looking over them and their parents are telling them, well, back in our day when we had Christmas, this is the way it was, not like it's being done at your house. Adds such a dynamic to it and adds a comedy sense that if you've lived through seeing your elders generation and then yours and then now another set, it's phenomenal. Everybody does it differently. And I love the back and forth. I love the fact that in the original movie, Mark Wahlberg was the cool guy. I'm sorry, not Mark Wahlberg. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg was the cool guy. And now in this one, it becomes Mark is he's fighting for his spot and his dad, and then on top of it, John Cena shows up, and there's always that bigger guy on the block, right? And I think that's kind of what happens with John Cena. He adds that, makes Mark feel a little smaller. So I love that dynamic. Great family movie, PG-13, has everything you want. Everybody seems to find a room in these houses. I don't understand how it works. And yeah, that's my movie, number two. Guys?
I do not have this on mine, and I want to like this movie more. And I'm saying that as a big fan of both Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell and loving the other guys. I think it's a classic comedy. And I remember seeing Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2 and being let down. It just wasn't the same. It's a little bit too corny for me. And I think it also comes down to an era too, to Mike's point earlier. It just hasn't aged enough. Because corny's good in Christmas movies, don't get me wrong. So if I've seen it 20 times, maybe I would feel different. But I just was let down expecting more out of the comedy duo of Wahlberg and Farrell that just didn't live up to the other guys. Because it's a sequel, but in my mind, it's a trilogy. Because I'm considering every time they team up as another feature of the same franchise.
I'm kind of it's not on my list, but I want to divert a little bit from Joe here. I kind of disagree with some of his viewpoints. I think Daddy's Home 2 is one of the throwback to the old school Christmas films. It has a lot of those flavors. I didn't like the first Daddy's Home, and I was reluctant to see the second one. I think it's a far better film. Not everything lands, but none of these movies really does everything land either. There's one really standout scene in this movie where there's the fight over the thermostat. And that's just like the dads are so upset that somebody's touching the thermostat because in our home, Jim knows this as well. We weren't allowed to touch that thing, and if anybody even changed the temperature one bit in the house, it was a straight up fight with our father. So to have four essential dads in a house fighting over a thermostat, I think is a perfect encapsulation of Christmas right there.
And it goes back to what we talked about National Lampoons. If these moments in these movies can't remind you of your youth, and the time that you had celebrating these Christmases over and over again, I feel like they shouldn't even be in my top four because I like Mike remember that moment. And I love the fact that you've got the dad saying, just like he said, you should you should paddle that kid. And then you've got these new age dads that are like, well, we don't do paddles, we do timeouts. And then these fathers are like, what is that going to do? So absolutely love that. Love that scene's great. And they got a snowball scene, snowball
Mhm.
fight scene. So got to add that too.
You're right. I'm being hard on the movie, and that's just because my bar is so high for Will Ferrell or Mark Wahlberg. And don't get me wrong, you put Will Ferrell in a movie, your floor is at least four out loud laughs.
Yeah.
But my expectation is a baker's dozen. So I don't get that. It's hard, even though it's a Christmas movie and it's fine. It's just that if it was two other people in the movie, maybe it might make my list. It's just for those guys, I have such a high bar that they just didn't meet.
Gabe, what's your number two?
Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I like Home Alone 2. Love
Hmm.
Macaulay Culkin as an actor when he was a kid.
Home Alone 2 over Home Alone. That's the only problem I have with that.
That's an age difference, I think. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because Home Alone 2 also came out much before you were born, Gabe. Home Alone was close to making my list, the original.
Right.
It
Mhm.
did not. It was a close one, but Home Alone 2 is fine, but just not the same. And I think it comes down to rewatchability. Again, you put this in my mouth a dozen times, it might feel different than if I've just watched it once or twice. And when I think of Home Alone 2, I think of our current president, Donald Trump, making his acting debut. I know Mike resonated with that one. But Mike, any comments on this one or Jim's pick? Do you share any picks with Gabe or Mike or Gabe
Well,
or Jim?
we'll start. I did not share Daddy's Home 2, and I don't quite share Home Alone 2. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, by the way. One of my favorite quotes actually came from the second movie. You said, Joe, you said it's fine, but it's not quite the same. I actually think it's not fine because it's exactly the same as the first movie. They're too close to each other, which makes it great because if you love one, you're going to love the other one. And I love both Home Alone movies. I could watch them back to back and enjoy them and throw them on at any point in time. However, and I'm going to steal a pick here. I guess it's my turn anyways. I'm going with the original 1990 Home Alone. Kevin McAllister, you guys know the story. He gets left at home. The whole family goes to Paris without him. First, it's a lot of fun, but then it turns out there's this bumbling duo of the Wet Bandits, two of my favorite characters, by the way, Marv and Harry. And then you get this violent, hilarious, booby trap filled battle royale that is it's basically a cartoon brought to life. The amount of damage that these two guys is quite literally impossible. I remember my dad being like, they're dead, as he's watching this film the first time around. I love it. Home Alone's a classic. Home Alone 2 is just fine as far as you want the exact same thing a second time. It's like another scoop of ice cream, in my opinion. So.
I couldn't leave this podcast without one of the four of us representing Home Alone. I mean, it is a Christmas classic, and if it's not on your list, it's usually an honorable mention. When I think of this movie, you obviously think of all the iconic Macaulay Culkin scenes. But as a podcast that loves Martin Scorsese, having done his flicks recently, recapping some epic Joe Pesci performances. If we did a Pesci Mount Rushmore, I think it's on there too. Fantastic job by him, physical comedy, going to different lane and just nailing it. I love Pesci in this. I first watched this being watched Home Alone as a kid, then seeing Goodfellas, Casino as an adult, thinking that's the guy from Home Alone. Now I think of him for those Scorsese movies, but when I go back, I get lost in the Pesci performance.
I also
That
think that we don't talk about the score enough in that movie. You turn that movie on, and just the music that comes from it gives you that warm, fuzzy Christmas feeling. I honestly think I could just have it playing in the background all December, and it would
yeah,
get mood and spirited.
iconic John Williams. I mean, the guy was a maestro of the decade and really even still today. Little bit of interesting trivia here for you guys. Macaulay Culkin still carries a scar on his finger from a rehearsal where Joe Pesci bit him. So that's, he had to pay the price to have one of those famous scenes. Pretty cool.
And I feel like now that Macaulay Culkin is a sort of retired actor, they do card him out like they card out Mariah Carey every December to recap some of the Home Alone moments. He's teaming up with probably American Express or DoorDash or something to relive some of those iconic moments for our viewing pleasure. So I appreciate him for that.
Yep.
I don't have this on my list, so for my number two, I am going with one that really hits home for me. And if I had to rank them, it'd probably be my first, and that is Four Christmases. It was a mixed reviewed movie when it came out. Critics kind of shrugged at it, but the people kept it alive. Like fruitcake, but a good version of that is what I'll compare it to.
Is
It
there such
captures
a
the
thing?
chaotic fam. What was that, Jim?
Is there such a thing as a good fruitcake? Or is fruitcake just the thing that your Aunt Betty brought and you felt obligated to take a piece of it?
Well, that's why I said fruitcake, but actually good.
I just don't,
Nice.
I can't put those together. I can't even fathom what that would be like, you know? But
Sorry, I should have put more dairy in the fruitcake.
you should have.
But it captures the chaotic family dynamics better than almost any film. And I just love a good Vince Vaughn monologue, and he delivers several in this. And Reese Witherspoon's panic, Jon Favreau and Tim McGraw as the MMA loving maniacs, Robert Duvall as the old school hit home, no punches barred father, and the mother with the husband that is the former childhood friend of Vince Vaughn. Every moment, every family dynamic is captured in this. And this is Vaughn and Favreau teaming up post Swingers
Mhm.
era in a different dynamic. It's chaotic, it's quotable, it's got that Vince Vaughn speed and rhythm to it, and it's painfully relatable if you've ever been trapped in holiday family visits. And experienced a few of those bouncing around from house to house, and you see it all play out, and this captures it beautifully.
Actually, I think the problem I have with Four Christmases, I like the movie, by the way. It's a fun trip. It's got some great comedy. Robert Duvall always nails it. Vince Vaughn is great
Oh,
with
it's
his
incredible.
monologues. My problem with this is it's too real. I'm sitting there going, "Oh man, I feel like I've been through some of these situations personally," and I cringe a little bit, like, "Oh, that's hitting. Did you write part of this because you were here?" Like in those respects. I think the ending is a little bit, silly to just kind of unbelievable, but it's a good flick most of the way through.
If you think I'm gonna let a sexual predator into my home and go through my underwear, oh boy, you got another thing coming.
It's a pretty
By the
good
way,
book.
that's Robert Duvall describing why he won't let someone install a satellite dish in his house. That's what he thinks is gonna happen.
Gabriel, have you seen this movie?
No, I have
Okay.
not.
Okay. Well, just in case you were wondering, don't bother. So
Okay.
Ouch, Jim.
this movie, this it's actually
Is it
not,
bad?
no, it's not that bad, but it doesn't belong in anybody's top eight. Let's put it that way. There is what it lacks is exactly what Joe said it needed to have to fit into his top four, which is rewatchability.
Oh, it's
I've
got
seen
that.
it once and a half, maybe not even
That's
that.
on you, Jim.
No, that half is where I tried going twice and it failed. before it got off the ground. So I
You're
believe in
telling
that.
me when he shows up and gets tackled by Tim McGraw and John Favreau by MMA cage fighters in that full position with his arms bent back and legs bent back, and the kid jumps on him and says, "Google me," you know what? You not cracking up laughing?
I think that
You have no sense of humor, Jim.
Yeah, I think this is why Star Wars chose never to go find famous actors to play in their movie. They decided that you couldn't let a studio just say, let's pay all those names, all those great actors, and just throw them into a movie and it'll be great because you did that. And I think that's what the studio tried to do. And what they probably should have done is spent more time trying to figure out a way to write more Christmas into the movie. Christmas is again, it's around the movie, but it doesn't feel warm and fuzzy at any time. There's no music that fits in it. You're traveling constantly, so there's not the big house where everybody's living under one roof with the 13 bedrooms thing. You're just moving around. It feels more like, I don't know, four weddings and a funeral. It doesn't fit like Christmas to me. So,
We're gonna have to agree to disagree, Jim, because this is not only on my Rushmore but my favorite. So I'm taking this as personal if we go any further. So
okay.
before I get heated here, Jim, and because I can talk all day about why this movie's great and quote it all day, let's get into your third pick.
All right. My third pick. You want me to go with that one first?
Well, it says third pick,
I know
so
it does. Well, it's terrible because this is where Joe's going to tear me up. I was going to go with the other one.
Oh, after that, you
All
shitting on Four Christmas? I'm bringing the people's elbow, my friend. Come on.
right, here we go. So I've done one older movie. It was a 1989 National Lampoons. I did a 2017 Daddy's Home, and I'm going to stick with the newer theme. This movie came out 4 years ago. It's called 8-Bit Christmas. So if you have not watched this movie, 2021, it has Neil Patrick Harris, and he's narrating, much like Christmas Story, his own character. And it also has Steve Zahn, and that's the end of the big actors. In fact, I don't think Neil Patrick Harris has screen time. He's just narrating. This movie, much like Christmas Story, feels like the Goonies in a Christmas story. So growing up, in the 80s and the 90s, I remember when the NES, I believe it was called, right, Mike? The
Nintendo
Nintendo
Entertainment System.
was released. I remember our father going out and getting an early model and us having one or two games and playing it right around that time. I think it was a Christmas gift, if I'm not mistaken. This movie is about a group of kids. You might as well call it like Stranger Things without the horror. They're riding their bikes around. They're trying to figure out how to get this launch date video game system. And they have their they have a friend that has it. He's rich and whatnot. These kids are your average day kids trying to acquire it any which way they can. And it's a constant moving down the path of unable to get it here, unable to get it there, much like that Schwarzenegger movie, Christmas All the
Jingle all
Way.
the
Jingle
way.
all the
Put some
way.
respect
Thank
on the
you.
man's name.
Right. So he's trying, right. In that movie that he's trying to acquire a action figure, it's much like that.
Turbo
So
Man.
thank you.
Yeah,
All
Turbo.
right.
Goonies meets Christmas Story. That's what I'm calling it.
I'm rolling up the sleeves for this one.
See, I wanted to go safe after that, but
Oh, listen. 8-Bit Christmas is one of those movies that rolls with the audacity to think it belongs in the same room as A Christmas Story. Just because it involves some childhood nostalgia and a kid trying to get a toy. But instead of that charm, instead of that heart, instead of the timeless scenes that you quote for decades, it gives us this lukewarm, reheated casserole of cliches, these half baked emotional beats that feel like they came from some AI generated holiday movie. It wants to be Stand By Me meets A Christmas Story with a sprinkle of Nintendo cocaine dust on there. But what we actually get is an overproduced attempt at retro that feels like it was written by someone who has never actually played Nintendo, only read three articles about it on the 80s on BuzzFeed. And don't get me started on the emotional tugging at the end. Suddenly it tries to be profound, tries to make you cry, but it feels like heartwarming storytelling and more like someone wringing out a damp sock and saying, "Look at this emotional depth." The nostalgia feels forced. The jokes feel like first drafts, and the entire movie feels like it's conceived as what if a holiday movie that checks every box but forgets to include what's most important in these movies is a soul. Is it the worst holiday movie ever made? No, but it is aggressively mid, insincerely sentimental, and falls apart under the shadow of every movie it tries to imitate. It's not getting in the annual rotation, and it is the kid picked last in the gym class. It's the ugly ornament that never makes it onto the tree unless you're completely desperate. If you want nostalgia, humor, heart, and that rewatchability, go watch Elf. If you want something real, go watch It's a Wonderful Life. If you want background noise while folding laundry, 8-Bit Christmas is just for you.
Okay. First of all, you need to put your shirt back on and get off of your stool. Okay.
I told you I was going to bring it. After before
Oh, you
Christmas, you
did.
got me going.
I mean, I needed to bring the body armor. That's what I
That
should have brought. The
that
body
was
clothes I just took there. Geez, you left nothing. I'm
that,
scared to give up my fourth one. Go ahead, Mike.
that was a beautiful takedown, Joe. But I know that you were upset from the previous one, not completely earned.
Yeah, that was a bit emotional fueled, to be honest with you. But
Ape,
Mike, what's your opinion on this movie?
8-Bit Christmas, both of you guys said things that are true about this movie. Yes, it's a nostalgia-filled throwback to the 80s Christmas movies. And yes, it's also extremely derivative of those movies and fails to really reach those levels. But there are some really great stuff, really great scenes, really great things in here. The Neil Patrick Harris monologue and narration is excellent. I love the scene with the power glove because if you were a kid in the 80s, you knew how bad those things sucked. And I also love the scene when the TV crushes the dog, and the daughter was like, "What? The dog dies?" And Neil Patrick, "Well, listen, honey, it was the 80s." Right? Like that's an acceptable thing to happen because it was more dangerous back then. But yeah, I mean, it also doesn't make my list for a lot of the same things that Joe's saying. It's like it wants to be this, and what it turns out to be is kind of Christmas, the fan service Christmas film. So yeah, it doesn't quite live up to the joys that's going to make it onto my top four, but it's yeah, maybe I will throw it on in the background when I'm making cookies though. So
Feel like
Eh,
Gabriel set me up, just so we're clear. I have a fourth pick that you would have loved. It probably makes your top four, but he picked that one for me to go ahead of it, just so you could use me like that.
Thank you, Gabe. And
it's
Gabe,
Gabe's
because
turn,
you're a
right?
kid with taste, I'm going to assume it's not on your list. So why don't you give us your number three?
So my number three, I actually like this one. I actually saw this on our cruise ship that we went on once, and I'm gonna go with Elf for my number three.
What a soft
Of
landing
course.
after that, right? Go ahead, Gabe. Keep going. Tell me why you like
I
it.
love the movie. Will Ferrell is such a good comedian in that movie. I just love him as being an acting as an elf, just trying to find his dad, then finds him
An adult-sized elf.
ex a human
Yeah.
that's pretending to be an elf. And
Incredible pick. Is it fair to say, Mike, you're going to have this on your list too? I'm going to have it on my list. Jim, is it your fourth pick?
No, it is not.
It is not
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So for Mike and I, this will share. Excellent pick, Jim, and no surprise that the greatest Christmas
Excellent
movie ever
pick,
made is
Gabe.
not on Jim's list.
Right.
Instead, he picked 8-Bit Christmas with
Come on.
Jonathan Neil Patrick Harris, who, by the way, Neil Patrick Harris redeems himself in a Harold and Kumar Christmas. Great, funny role by him. But Elf, man, massive hit. Another John Favreau pick from following my four Christmases, and it's put Will Ferrell in immortality this time of year. And we know Will Ferrell to what he is today, but we have to take ourselves back to when this movie came out. This was not the Will Ferrell we all know and love. I think he just came out with Old School, but he was known as an SNL guy when this came out. So this was a big swing by a studio casting him in this role as a lead. But it's a movie that crosses all generations, all ages. Kids love it, adults quote it. No one doesn't smile in this movie. From the world's greatest coffee to eating gum on the floor of New York City. Santa, I know him. The Narwhal saying bye, buddy. Will Ferrell eating spaghetti with syrup like a man possessed. And he's admitted he did all of his own eating. No stuntmen involved in the process of filming Elf. And Favreau really pushed for the practical effects to mimic the old Rankin bass style. And it's joy. It's pure joy. I don't have any notes for this movie. What can make it better? I love it every time I watch it.
Yeah, I agree. Elf is to me, what's funny is when I saw it in the theater and I knew right away it was a Christmas classic. If I saw it right now, I would have put it on the list for this one. I knew immediately that this was going to be a replayed one. I love Will Ferrell. I loved him in the early 2000s. This is a role that was well designed for him. Because when I think of Will Ferrell, I think of as an insane, silly, crazy human being. And for him to play a fish out of water, quite literally growing up as an elf and being injected into the real world, it's a perfect situation. Plus, James Caan as the dad character is the perfect foil. You know, Sonny from The Godfather, having to deal with the antics of Buddy the elf, leads some of the best humor is their interplay. And Jon Favreau deserves, I couldn't say enough. You guys all said it. Elf definitely makes my list. I share this one too.
I would
I feel
not.
like a good Christmas movie needs a hardcore actor like a James Caan, a Robert Duvall, or a Joe Pesci to bring it home.
Yeah. I'm not going to tear it down. Love the movie. But I do think that at times you have to give up on the law of physics to enjoy this movie, maybe, or be high. So E equals MC squared doesn't have to make sense in this. You have to give up a little bit on that and give in. And so I'm okay with that. It almost feels like it's a live action cartoon at times, you know. But it has all those scenes that you're talking about, and it's got what I think a great Christmas movie should have is some sort of singing by an actor in the movie. It doesn't have to be a Christmas song, but it I guess it just brings more to the table. It opens itself up, and I think the movie hits. But every time I start it with him jumping on those little icebergs and hopping through the what was it, Mike? The some kind of gum land. What's it called?
The gumdrop
Yeah,
forest or whatever. Yeah. So
right. It's a good movie. Let's just leave it at that. I won't tear Gabe down too much for it.
What a backhanded compliment for a holiday about suspended disbelief and who had 8-bit Christmas on his Mount Rushmore. It was good, but the tall guy who plays an elf on Christmas is the deal breaker for you.
8-bit's
That's
gonna
the
keep coming
premise of the
back.
entire movie.
I feel like for years we're gonna talk about 8-bit, just you and me, and we're gonna debate this. And I didn't put
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna. It's not gonna age well. That pick, man. It's a shame it's stoned.
Yeah.
it's in stone. Also, a bit of fun trivia in case you didn't know. You brought up the Santa, I know him screaming scene. That was completely ad-libbed. And if you go back and watch it, or even just check it out on YouTube, you can see the reactions from the other actors and the other people. They were not expecting that. What a great moment for a classic Will Ferrell piece. So,
And the last thing I'll say on this is shout out to Artie Lang. He's
mm.
one of my favorite comedians. I love the Howard Stern show when Artie Lang was on it. I've kind of aged out of it now a little bit, but shout out to Artie playing the Santa. Um, I think Bad Santa was probably a little inspired by that Artie Lang character in that movie. Shout out to Bad Santa. Did not make my list, but thought about it. But Jim, why don't you round us home with your fourth pick?
Okay. So this I've tossed this back and forth, and even at times thought about throwing 8-bit out, Joe. But 8-bit
Can't.
had to
It's
stay.
done.
It's done. It's in stone.
It
Yeah,
had to
it's done.
stay. So I am going to choose what you guys probably think is your fourth two, Christmas Story. This movie was was everything. If you were growing up, you remember your parents, you remember cursing the first time in front of your father or your mother and them catching it. It had it had the little brother scenes, it had the sticking your tongue on the pole, freezing, it had everything that we talked about growing up amongst our friends. What was real, what could happen. You had the bully. I even love how his mother wraps these kids so tight to go out sledding that their arms are straight out the side and they can't move them. I love that. I remember that. I remember thinking the more the clothes that we wore, the warmer we would be out there, to the point where you couldn't put your arms down. So this had everything for me. It had the lamp, it has the dogs and
Mhm.
the turkey. I could go on and on, but it fits in that mold that we talked about, that it reminds you of your Christmas or one of your Christmases. And it, even as we talked about the score before, this has the score that fits the timeline for its day. And so for it makes my final Christmas movie.
Hold on, I am Amazon priming a lingerie leg lamp at the moment. Um, Jim, great pick. It's not on my list, but I can't hate on it. You made up for yourself there. It's a Christmas classic. It has all the moments, the scenes. We've all seen it. We all can quote it. We all know it. Um, no notes on your pick. Mike, any thoughts? Does this make yours?
It doesn't make mine, but I think in a world where I'm glad it's on somebody's, and I think consensus all around, if you were going to say top five Christmas movies, it's going to be on that consensus all around pick for all those reasons Jim brought up, and it kind of makes the 8-bit Christmas feel a little bit more relevant. Like I'm like, oh, I see why you picked that one because that one really took a lot from A Christmas Story. Some great scenes, the tongue stuck on the pole, the Red Ryder BB gun, right? You'll shoot your eye out. All of those things make A Christmas Story one of the classics. I love it. It's one that gets played quite a bit. So
Before we move on to Gabe's pick, have you seen the sequel that came out last year or 2 years ago?
It did.
And did it change your relationship with the movie? Was it good? I have not seen it.
Um, it's a good addition. It's it's a it's kind of as if they would make Goonies today. It's too many years late, but it's good. It's not strong enough to be rewatchable by any means. It would make my top 25, but it's a nice addition if you were a true fan and you would like to know where the story went afterwards. Great, you know.
I get nervous when movies like this do that because it can change your relationship with the first watch, knowing the outcomes 20 years later of these people. I'm glad that it did not do that for you and other audiences, but that has been my fear in watching it, is I kind of like the imagination I have of where these people would be today when watching it, that I would get eliminated when watching the newer flick. So I'm glad it didn't change.
Where
so
are we
that's
going?
Gabriel, right? He's got
Gabe,
his four.
rounded home your
All
fourth pick.
right. So I already know I either might get a lot of hate for this or
Let's go with
it's
that
gonna
one.
be a lot of controversy behind this, but I I looked this up and it said it was a Christmas movie. I'm gonna go with The Nightmare Before Christmas.
It
Okay. Why
absolutely
why
is a
would you
Christmas
think
movie.
that we would
So
hate on that? That's a
Well,
classic movie.
because people would say like it's a Halloween movie or something like that,
It has the word Christmas in the title.
but
It,
it's
it
also
allows Gabe.
the nightmare.
He's okay with that. That part he didn't.
Uh,
He wasn't
Gabe,
upset.
I'll allow it. It's your Mount Rushmore. Why
Okay.
why do you like this movie, Gabe?
I just love the Tim Burton movies and how they're just like made of clay. It kind of gives you that Rudolph feeling a bit.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, it's
Mike,
good.
Mike, any thoughts on this one?
I had not seen A Nightmare Before Christmas until much later, until my kids wanted to watch it, and I turned it on, and my expectations for it were completely different from the movie I got. It's charming. It's a family friendly film. Uh, besides its name, it is not that at all. Is it a Christmas movie? Yeah. Is it a Halloween movie? It is. Tim Burton, one of the all-time great directors as far as being an odd human being and doing odd things. I think this is his magnum opus. I think you got fantastic songs that still get. I put them on a lot of my playlists, and it's a cool story. It's a fun one, and the idea of Sandy Claus being this horrible creature that they have to fight, and the misunderstandings of Christmas for a Halloween town just gives it a lot of charm. It's a fun kids movie that you can still enjoy as an adult, and it still holds up as far as the music and everything else is concerned.
Good pick, Gabe. You- I don't know what your friends think, but I approve.
Does it have a little Grinch feel to it at
That's
times?
my thought, the darker side of Christmas Tales. Like The Grinch is a great movie.
I
It's
love
the
it.
it's like Scrooge kind of. They're both good movies, but a different take on turning the mean guy into the holiday guy, you know? I like those. They have a place.
All right, boys, what do we got for?
Mike, bring it home.
All right, well, so I'm going to address the Nakatomi Tower in the room, and I'm going to go with Die Hard as my final Christmas movie. And I'm waiting, but hold your breath baitedly, please, guys, before you attack this thing. Die Hard, of course, if you don't know, John McClane goes to go see his wife, let's say estranged wife, in California. It is not, it is Christmas, but there is not snow. And he ends up, basically fighting a whole bunch of terrorists single-handedly on Christmas night. It is a beautiful Christmas film that includes lines such as Happy Trails, Yippee-ki-yay, and Now I Have a Machine Gun.
Gabe
Mike,
wants
I'm
to,
so glad you picked this just so we could talk about it.
well, first of all, Gabe just looked something up. Go ahead, tell him what you read.
I looked up, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And they said no.
AI says no.
All right,
Well,
first
if
of
you ask
all,
the internet, are eggs good for you? And if Die Hard's a Christmas movie, you're going to get a 50-50 raffle of
At this
debate
point, whatever
on Reddit boards.
ChatGPT says, I believe.
I didn't look up ChatGPT.
let me say this. To me, it's the most Christmassy of Christmas movies because it includes having to travel on Christmas somewhere you don't want to go for a family obligation. Okay. And then when you get there, everything goes wrong and you have to deal with all the crap. I don't see how that's anything less than a Christmas movie. I'm sorry, but
I think
holiday
Christmas movies
seasons,
have
that's
to
how it
have
goes.
snow. You can't have
Yeah.
one set in California or Florida, right? I mean, it doesn't. I imagine that's what Florida people feel like during Christmas.
Well,
Like
it's
they
just
put,
rain
yeah, what would it be like to put Christmas tree lights on a palm
on.
tree? It just,
It actually looks nice. I've seen it.
Yeah,
yeah,
Corona does it every year. And besides, it's got Christmas music.
They
Christmas
have
on
a commercial
Hollis
about
by
it.
Run DMC is in the film. So it's a Christmas movie. And you know what? Here's the other thing. I watch it every year at Christmas time. And it is the shining light. I wait till the kids go to bed and I throw on Die Hard, and it is still holds up start to finish. It is a fantastic film. John McTiernan killed it with that movie. I love it.
does
Die Hard.
this movie have so much depth, Mike, that every time you rewatch it, you catch something new that you hadn't caught before?
No, but I
Thank
quote
you.
nearly every line, and yeah, and there is snow, by the way, so plenty of snow.
Is The
Okay.
Hateful Eight a Christmas movie because there is snow? I mean, is this what we're doing here, guys? Look, Die Hard is an absolute powerhouse of a film. This isn't up for debate. It's one of the greatest action movies ever made. It's got the tight pacing, that razor sharp dialogue, a villain in Hans Gruber that could charm you while robbing you blind. And Bruce Willis gives us one of the most iconic everyman heroes who ever crawled barefoot through broken glass. It's genius. It's legendary. It's cinema that still rips 35 years later, whether you want to rewatch it during this time of year or middle of May. But here's the thing, to me, it's not a Christmas movie. Just because a story happens during Christmas doesn't magically make it about Christmas. If Die Hard is a Christmas movie, then Saving Private Ryan is a beach vacation film. A, I mean, I'm going to break it down for you. A
You know,
Christmas
he's been
movie.
waiting for somebody to drop that one. He should have that set up.
I'm glad you picked it because now this fodder is prepared for just in case. But a Christmas movie should be about the spirit of the holiday: family, redemption, joy, forgiveness, magic, something warm in your chest that makes you want to hug your grandma and drink hot cocoa. Die Hard gives us the opposite: bullets, blood, terrorism, and John McClane using holiday tape like a psychopath MacGyver who just discovered Office Depot.
Right.
Yes, there are Christmas trees. Yes, Let It Snow plays as bodies hit the floor. But he writes, Now I have a machine gun, ho, 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 on a sweatshirt like a festive serial killer.
Doesn't Run DMC get in there too with a song? The Christmas.
Yes,
That's window dressing. It's the
Yeah.
aesthetic, not the purpose.
For every reason Red One is a Christmas movie, is why Die Hard's not. It has
When,
everything Red One has, but it misses all the things that make it Christmas.
What the Chris?
when you strip away the seasonal tinsel, you're left with a story about a cop rescuing hostages from a skyscraper.
And Mike, we feel bad to tear this down because this is in our top movies of all time,
Well,
period.
I'm giving it the nod. It's a great movie.
yeah, don't
But
act like you're not going to watch it
Yeah.
this holiday season, guys. Come on,
I'm more
it's
likely to
tradition.
watch it. Yeah, I'm more likely to watch it any other time of the year than I would on Christmas, personally.
Oh,
So it's the kind of movie that comes on and I'm in. But for the Christmas spirit, I need a little John Hughes. I need that feel. I need a little 8-bit Christmas feel.
Okay.
I need that
You're still
spirit.
going at it?
I probably
Well,
don't know, but yeah.
Christmas, all these movies we picked, with the exception of Die Hard, Christmas is the reason for the conflict.
Mhm.
It's the emotional core. It's the theme. Die Hard has none of those. The plot could happen on Halloween, Labor Day, Arbor Day, Earth Day, National Bagel Day. Nothing changes except wardrobe and catering. Die Hard is Christmas time adjacent. It's ornamentally festive, you could call it. It's an action movie with decorative Santa sprinkles on top. And honestly, that's okay. We don't need it to be a Christmas movie to love it. We don't need to shove it into the holiday rotation like it's trying to get into executive exclusive nightclub. We can appreciate it for what it is. One of the best action films ever made, just not a seasonal reindeer and cocoa holiday classic.
Thanks for
Watch
doing
it
that.
December, sure. Watch it June, also fine. Watch it every time it shows up on cable, obviously. But don't tell me it belongs in the same warm-hearted category as Elf or Home Alone.
Mike, thanks for bringing it to the table so we could all equally
Yes.
be abused at some point during this show. Because
Yeah,
well,
otherwise,
it's,
Joe.
it's a
probably
9
would
out
have.
of 10 movie and a 0 out of 10 Christmas sweater. It's the sweater that doesn't magically make it, and it's not Santa approved.
Well, Joe's still got you still got one more, don't you,
Oh,
Joe?
I
I.
No,
do, and I feel like we should end on this, man, because my
no.
last one, I wanted to end on Elf. Because I feel like it's a perfect one to
Um,
end on. But, we talked about it. We had the thing. My last one is for me, and it's the whole reason we call this a holiday movie, Mount
uh-huh.
Rushmore, not a Christmas movie, Mount Rushmore. And that's Eight Crazy Nights.
I think
Critics hated it, but Jewish kids everywhere, including myself, said, finally, representation. It's raunchy,
I
it's
love that
dumb,
movie.
it's sincere, it's Adam Sandler at, in
I
my
love
opinion, peak Sandlerism. The mall food court number musical is iconic.
it.
Whitey, come on, did I say more here? Because as Jews in December, this might as well be Citizen Kane. That's why it's on my list.
I love this movie.
Go ahead, Mike.
I love the pick, Joe. Here's the deal: is when I first saw Eight Crazy Nights, I did not like it, and that's not a knock on it because I've really softened over time, and now I actually really enjoy it. That's a technical foul. All of the music, it just becomes the more you watch it, the more you love it. And I find it a spiritual successor to the Hanukkah song, which I think is one of the all-time great holiday songs ever. And Adam Sandler happened to write that, and so. I've softened. There's still, the deer pooping scene. I'm still not sure what's going on there, but overall, I like this movie. It is one that I play regularly. The idea of Whitey and his sister, and it's got a ton of heart where you don't expect it to have it. And to me, I think that's what makes a great movie is you can have all the comedy and you can have all of the laughs and it can be stupid and over the top, but if you have nothing bringing it back down to that feeling and that heart. That's what Christmas and the holidays and the traditions and is really all about, right? Is that idea of heart. So
And it's his Nutty Professor for Sandler. He does 80% of the voices in that movie.
Gabe, go ahead. Talk about it.
I love this movie. When I first saw it, I was cracking up the first time I saw it. I love it. I just like the idea of Adam Sandler being in it. And my mom had to explain some of the stuff in it, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling Jim is going to rip apart just for the sake
No,
of it. He's still resentful
no.
over 8-Bit Christmas, but go ahead,
I
Jim.
thought I thought long and hard about bringing it in just because it isn't. It's Christmas, but it's got the Jewish, you know, peel to it.
Got
So,
everything. It's got something for
right,
everyone.
I thought about it just to make it different than the others. But yeah, it's a good quality movie. I can't say a whole lot of bad stuff about it. You get some Adam Sandler music, and his stupid voices that he covers. Like I think he probably plays 5 different characters in it. Um, Part of me wondered if they could have made it live action when they came out with it, and then after you watch it a couple times, you appreciate the fact they didn't. because they could go places they couldn't otherwise go. Um, Great movie. I'm happy with it. I'm fine. I guess maybe that's how we should finish this because we should all have this Hallmark moment where we get along again and we call ourselves family. But yeah, good.
Well, it wouldn't be Christmas to end on just that note. I have to mention one thing, which I don't think will spark debate here, but I know people listening will want to hear me talk about it. And it's an honorable mention because it's not a movie, but it is a classic Christmas rewatch on the Maryland Mintz side of the family. And that is The Bear, Season 1, Episode 7, Seven Fishes. One of the best pieces of holiday media ever created. Anxiety, love, family dysfunction, captured perfectly. A tradition I have kept every year. You don't need to know anything about the show to watch it. It stands alone like a holiday short film. Just buckle up. It feels like being back at a very chaotic family table. It's very loud, messy, stressful, beautiful. I'd compare it to watching Uncut Gems with the anxiety it may bring in you. But I enjoyed the ride the whole time. If you haven't seen it, recommend it. I had to mention it.
Yeah, it's over my head. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of The Bear when they were releasing it, and so you couldn't see it all at once. You had to watch 2 episodes and wait another week to get the next episode, and I was kind of like out after that. And it's not that I probably should jump back in and watch the rest of it. I've heard it's a claimed movie. The guy's, moving on with his character, or his acting abilities. He's getting bigger stuff because of it. But no, I did not make it to 7. I think I'm through 2 episodes 3 years ago. So
Just skip to 7 because you don't need to watch anything. It's a one-off episode that takes place in the past, not in the current timeline.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that was pretty random, Joe. Go
No,
ahead.
well, I wanted to say, like random, yes, but I mean, this is a throwback. Before streaming, back when you had television and broadcast and cable, you had all of these sitcoms and these shows, and they would do these bottle episodes. Usually around the holidays, you would get an episode that was dedicated to Halloween or dedicated to Christmas, and it was a standalone, a bottle, right? It was just a one-off episode, and you don't get that a lot with streaming anymore. And I'm happy. Full disclosure, I haven't seen this, but I will watch it now because, like you said, you don't have to come in with anything and you can throw it on. But I love that there's a little nostalgia in me to understand that maybe television and streaming can go back to a little bit of that, the treehouse of terror that The Simpsons would do every year and these other bottle episodes for the holidays. So TV is another aspect of the holiday season that we shouldn't forget either.
Just to get this straight, is this basically an episode as if we were watching like Shifting Gears or anything else where they just had their Halloween episode and a month later they have their Christmas episode and then a couple months later we have our Valentine's and so on and so on? Is that basically what this is, Joe? It's just their Christmas episode that one season?
No, this is not connected to the timeline of the show at all. It
Okay.
is a standalone to give you context on how characters became who they are in a very relatable way.
Because I'm thinking NCIS Christmas episode, some like Santa dies. You know?
This
Jim,
is
how
not
about
that.
this? Next time you're on, give yourself 1 hour to watch this show episode. I'd recommend it this month. It's great. I think you'll love it. And then you tell me what your thoughts are after.
Okay.
But this is not the Mount Rushmore of episodic television for the holidays. This is a movie timeline. So we had to get the honorable mention because I know a few people listening expect to hear me talk about it. But this is not on my Rushmore. But whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, Festivus, or you're just, at least in your household, vibing with Chinese food and a movie marathon, I hope this episode got anyone listening in the mood.
Mike, you had something to say about NCIS and Santa being killed off in that episode. I wanted to hear your.
Yeah, well, it's NCIS is kind of like the Hallmark Christmas or whatever Hallmark anything. They've had the one plot and they do it all the time. So yeah, nothing special there.
Okay. All right, Joe, something to homework. We're going to call it homework.
Yes.
Episode 7, season what?
Episode 7, season 1. It's called Seven Fishes.
Okay.
There we go. That's what we have to do. We have to watch that
All
this
right.
holiday season to get in the mood because it's obviously got great music. It's got all the family drama.
It's uncut gems in television, so don't expect holiday cheer as much as a little bit of holiday anxiety, but in a relatable way. And a little bit of touch of humor. You get the cousin Eddies in there, everything is touched.
Okay.
Well, we've given you guys quite a bit to listen to, and lots of options. If you want to watch something this holiday season, there's a whole bunch of great movies that we listed and 8-Bit Christmas. But those are our picks, right? That's what we carved onto our mount. But the real question is what would you carve onto yours? Tell us who won, tell us who lost, tell us who was right, tell us who was wrong, and put it up in a nice little Christmas bow and send us some comments. Until the next episode, we have Jim, Gabe, Joe, and I'm Mike Mintz. Happy holidays.
L'chaim, Merry Christmas, God bless.
Got a good
Merry
Christmas quote?
Christmas. I would say it, but I can't.
I was thinking now I have a machine gun.
Ho, ho, ho.